Hi everybody, once again welcoming you in the channel of Learn English, and I have brought something really helpful for you that's really a problem of many people around the globe. And yes, I'm talking about IELTS reading. Yes, IELTS reading is a trouble for you. Let's solve out your trouble, how you're gonna help yourself. You want to improve your reading scores and you are unable to do so. So I'm going to give you some helpful tips that will help you a lot in your reading skills. So, the number of the correct answers that you get in to reading modules is to get a band 7 slightly, if I say, is from test to test. If you just try hard and hard, then you're going to improve. So let's start, people out there listening, IELTS reading tips. So what are the IELTS reading tips? Surely I'm gonna share. Number 1, don't expect to understand each and every word that you are reading in the context. Many of the students have been taught that every word in the dictionary they don't understand in a dictionary, and sometimes when they appear in IELTS, they find it difficult because they don't find any clues and other things. Even sometimes the native speakers and many IELTS teachers, they are unable to understand the words in the reading test. So it's not necessary that you expect to understand each and every word. My tip number 2 is practice your reading skills, not your IELTS skills. It's very important. You know why? Just to familiarize yourself with the IELTS reading test, IELTS reading tips, and to gain an understanding of various questions in your mind. So, IELTS reading text can be a little boring sometimes. You are more likely to read regularly if you read about some you're interested in may be different than this scenario. So, reading for pleasure is a little every day will not improve your English language skills but also improve your vocabulary. So there are thousands of blogs, newspapers, magazines and newspapers to choose from online. So you should always practice, because practice makes a man perfect. My tip for you today, tip number 3 for improving your reading IELTS is read the instructions very carefully. So many easy marks are lost by good candidates who wants to appear for IELTS because they fail to read the instructions properly. So this is very, very true in the reading and listening test because they give very specific instructions. If you don't follow them exactly, you will get the question wrong. So for example, the instruction might state, write 2 words or a word or a number. This could mean 1 word sometimes 1 word or a number, sometimes 2 words and then 2 words and a number. My tip for you for tip number 4 is don't panic. This is really, really important tip because most of the students panic in reading IELTS skills. So some of the questions will be very easy, extreme, and some will be extremely difficult for you. So the key is not to panic when you are trying to answer a difficult question. Nearly all the IELTS teachers I know, I have gone through to check the answers some questions because they are difficult too. So what is the wrong thing to do? It's to spend a large amount of time on a question and fail to spend enough time for the rest of the questions. If you focus on one question and you waste a lot of other time for other questions, then you will lose all the score remaining over. So number 5 tip is it's really a vocabulary test. If you're good at vocabulary, you're gonna improve. So in many ways, the reading test is more of a vocabulary test than a reading test, and they will use synonyms and paraphrase sentences to test how wide your vocabulary is. So just to prepare this, I would advise you all to do 3 things. Now what are they? Read, and read. Number 2, you should note down. And number 3, you should review. So all of these things are going to be help for you in regard to vocabulary test. Tip number 6. Timing is crucial in reading. If you spend too much time on one question, you will leave less time for the others. So, however, if you try to do it quickly, you will miss some of the information and you might be confused. So, I advise you people to try and get each section finished in 20 minutes. This will break you down to 17 minutes to read and answer the questions, and 3 to 4 minutes in transferring and checking your answers easily. Tip number 7 is ignore anything you already know about the topic. The higher the level, more the problems affect the people. So please remember that you're being tested on your understanding of the text only. Your own knowledge of the topic should not be influenced in your questions. Tip number 8. Practice slow and fast. Many teachers advise the students to practice the IELTS reading test under exam conditions. This means that you do practice test in 1 hour without any help. So just like in the exam, you do it. And this is poor advice for a few reasons. I'm going to tell you why it is so. By doing the test under exam conditions, you have too much pressure on you, and you don't give yourself time to reflect how to answer specific questions. You stop patterns in questions and you answer them in a different way. So this is how you're going to decrease the practice in your scenario. Tip number 9. Be careful when transferring your answers on the answer sheet. In the test, you will be asked to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. A very common mistake is to spend too much time on reading and answering the questions and leaving very little time to transfer your answers on the answer sheet. So it's very natural that silly mistakes are made when people are under pressure. So I always advise people to practice with an IELTS answer sheet and see how much time you take to transfer your answers on the answer sheet. So this will allow you to familiarize yourself with the process confidently on the test day. Number 10. Tip number 10. Leave no blanks. This might seem one of the most obvious IELTS reading tip, but you would be surprised how many people leave blanks even they don't know the answer. Make sure you attempt every question and you might get lucky and you have nothing to lose. I hope that all these 10 tips were very fruitful for you in regard to improve your reading skills. If you think that reading is very, very tricky, it really is not. If you're going to practice, you're surely going to excel in your reading scores. So till my next video, I'll be catching you with another topic related to IELTS or some other grammar and English topic. Till my next video, keep subscribing, sharing my channel. This is Learn with Amna.